sometimes we use the words moods, feelings, and emotions interchangeably, right? So are moods, feelings, and emotions just the same? Let's find out. Okay. So let's start with emotions. Okay. Emotions are very short-lived and intense responses to specific stimuli. Okay. So when we encounter any stimuli in our environment, the first sort of reactions, the intense responses to which we feel to that kind of specific stimuli are part of what we call the emotions. Okay. For example, when we suddenly spot a snake out in the open, there is a sudden feeling of fear, right? So that fear is our emotion. Okay. Whereas feelings are the subjective experiences of emotions. So feelings are also a component of the emotion, but that is not just the intense response to a particular stimuli, but the subjective associations of experience that we have of those emotions are what encurtail our feelings. Okay. Mood, on the other hand, is the diffuse, long-lasting emotional states. Okay. The long-lasting emotional states that are not always tied to one particular event. Okay. So if we view the emotion as something cross-sectional, mood is something which is more long-lasting. Okay. So it is not always tied to one specific event. Emotions are usually the reaction to one particular stimuli or one specific event, and that the subjective experience that creates is what we call feelings. But moods are the diffuse and long-lasting emotional states that are, longitudinal in nature and not specifically tied to one specific event. Okay. If we look at what Morgan and King have to say, they say that moods are less intense but sometimes more sustained than emotion. So like I said, if we view emotion as something cross-sectional, mood is rather longitudinal in nature.